Welcome to this webinar where we're going to talk about small business tax deductions that could save you thousands that you don't want to miss out on. So welcome. If you've failed at minimizing your tax exposure in the past, it is not your fault. Most accountants and tax professionals want you to think that you can't think creatively regarding taxes because it will trigger some type of red flag for the IRS. But the fact is that's not true. So we're here to show you how to identify deductions and tax saving strategies that will save you money instantly. So the goals for this webcast: one, I want to help small business owners who want to lower their tax bill and want to keep more of their hard-earned money in their pocket without settling for the same underperforming strategies year in and year out. This is the only way to lower your tax bill and keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket is through a custom tax plan. Now, if you haven't heard of it, don't worry, we're going to get through it. And obviously I'm biased, but I believe the best way to do this is through Lakefront Advisors. So who am I? Who is David Didier? Just a couple quick bullet points. Graduated from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign with honors. Out of school, I work for a large multi-billion dollar international corporation. And since then, I've started my own company and with the goal of helping small business owners increasing their profitability. Now, why is this so important to me? Why this is so important to me is that I grew up working in my family's business. My ultimate goal was to take over that family's business. My great-grandfather bought our farm back in 1912, and that was always my goal. I went to school for it. That's what I wanted to do. But when I was a senior in college, I sat down with my grandma, my two uncles, and my dad, and I said, "Hey, this is your business. What's your plan? What do you want to do? What's the goal? Because this is your business. You got to tell me." They knew what my intentions were, but ultimately I didn't have the choice. And right there, I was told there wasn't room for me. There wasn't room for me in the family's business. So I left. I went and worked for a large international corporation because I decided, I knew I always wanted to start my own business, but I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. And I knew that, hey, this could be a good page education. I'll work for a large corporation. I'll see how big companies work, what I like, what I don't like, and what I'll do different when I would start my own business. And in that process, I realized that my ultimate mission is to empower small business owners to make room in their businesses. I'm so passionate about this because there wasn't room in mine. So how does this apply to you? So maybe you have a family member who you would like to join your business, but you can't afford to include them. Or making room can mean different things for different people. Maybe it's you think about your business 24/7. You can't get it off your mind. Maybe you're not present when you come home because all you're thinking about is work or your finances. My mission is to help you to get from where you are to where you want to get to so you can finally live the life that you dreamed of and be present. There's no time like the present. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. And the last thing that I want is for you to go years and years into your business, finally get to where you want to get to and realize, man, the last 5 years, the last 10 years, whatever it is almost lost. I wish I could have had that time back. We can't get our time back. So my mission is to help you to be present and to get to your ultimate goals and to make room in your business, no matter what making room means for you. And so here's just some of the results just to tell you that, hey, this stuff does work. Had an orthodontist in Texas. In taxes, he saved over $50,000. Had a small business owner in Dallas, Texas that had over $30,257 in taxes saved, and a gynecologist had $32,649 saved. Now, I tell you this with a disclaimer, not all results are created equal. Every business is different. So just because this is the results that they had does not mean you're going to get these kind of results. But I wanted to show you this for the sake of just knowing that, hey, can these strategies work? Yes. Are these strategies that we're going to cover, are they just a snippet? Absolutely. In order to get some serious savings, there's other things that you're going to have to do. But my goal is I hate when I go on webinars and people talk to me, but I don't have any tangible, actionable advice that I can go and run with. And so all they want to do is just push you into some kind of program. And I'll tell you at the end, I'm going to give you guys an offer, full transparency, but I want you guys to understand a few different strategies to help you today, so that way you can make tangible changes in your business. So today what we're going to cover is secret number 1, how to rent out your home for 14 days a year and pay $0 in income tax. Secret number 2 we're going to cover is how to identify what reasonable compensation is and why that's important. And secret number 3 is how to accurately track the business and personal use of a vehicle. So secret number 1, how to rent out your home for 14 days a year and pay $0 in income tax. So some people think, a lot of small business owners are like, whoa, I don't understand. How can I rent out my home and have it affect me in taxes? How can I save on taxes? Well, let me tell you a quick story. There's the Augusta rule, or the 14-day rule, you might hear it called. Now, the actual IRS code is something different, but you hear that talked about all the time. It's either the 14-day rule or the Augusta rule. And how that came about is, in Augusta, Georgia, there's the Masters tournament. And the Masters tournament, I've never been to Augusta, but Augusta, Georgia, there isn't a lot of hotels. And so at the time, they needed a way for people who are going to watch the Masters tournament to have accommodations, places to stay. So what they did is they came up with the 14-day rule, in that for 14 days, the people in Augusta, Georgia, they could rent out their homes. And the reason that they were willing to do that so people can stay and watch the golf tournament, was that they could pay up to 14 days of rentals. They paid $0 in income tax. And so what I want you to think about is, maybe you don't want to rent out your home, right? But understand, from a business perspective, it would be normal and reasonable for businesses to conduct meetings. So remember, the rule is that you can rent out your home for up to 14 days a year. They didn't say who you had to rent it to, or what kind of meetings, or the ways that they would be renting it. And so I want you to understand that it's normal for businesses to conduct meetings and different types of meetings. So you might have, maybe it's meetings and you have your board of directors at your house. Maybe it's meetings and you have your lawyer over, or accounting over, or you're running marketing meetings, or you have a get-together, a big team meeting, whatever it is. Different meetings come with, there's a different amount of people there, and there'd be different costs. So let's say you were going to have a meeting with your board of directors. If you had a board of directors, you're going to have that meeting. What you would do is, as long as you can obtain reasonable comps, so you would say, call some of the local hotels, say, hey, let's say you had 12 people. Hey, I need a meeting room for 12 people, audio and video equipment. What would that cost? And so you can start to run some comps, document it all. And now what you're able to do, instead of having people rent your house, you're able to have your business rent your house from you personally. And what you would charge is the equivalent to what those reasonable comps are for your area. Every area is different, but as long as you have those reasonable comps, you document it. You document the reason for the meeting. Remember, document. Now all of a sudden you can rent your home for up to 14 days a year and pay $0 in income tax. So an example of this, a little bit different from the previous story of say, renting your house out to your business. There's an example of a guy who owns, it's actually a couple that own a house in Silicon Valley. And it's a beautiful home. And it was a magazine that wanted to come out and do a big photo shoot. And so they were doing these big photo shoots, beautiful home, pool, the whole thing. And he was able to run, well, in this case, it was, what was the production company willing to pay? He said, well, it's going to cost you. And then he kind of looked around a little bit to have a property like that and what they wanted to do and everything. He charged him $60,000 a day, plus or minus. It was right around $60,000 a day. And he did that for $60,000 a day, up to 14 days he can rent his house out. That's $840,000 that he can have come in income that he does not have to pay any income tax on, because it's within that 14-day rule. So that's an extreme example, but that's an example of where maybe other people want to rent your home from you. If you had, say, Airbnbs, whatever it might be, however you want to do it, but you can have it for up to 14 days a year. And so you might be thinking, like we talked about, I don't really want strangers in my home. Remember, you can have You don't have to have strangers come in your home like that. If it works out, great. If you want to do that, but understand that you can rent your house out personally you can personally rent your house out to your business for some of these different business meetings as long as you document it. Now you think about what you're able to do is if you have some of this money coming in now through that rental income, now and we'll get into the reasonable compensation later, but now you're able to shift some of that money that maybe you were paying yourself in a salary at a higher tax bracket. Now you can lower what you're getting paid in a salary. You can then supplement it obviously with what you're getting in with through this 14-day rule. Now it's tax free. So instead of getting paid at a higher tax bracket, now you're able to have at least 14 days of that income coming in tax free. And so the next thing we want to get into is how to identify reasonable compensation. So reasonable compensation looks at what do how much are you getting paid? What's the equivalent, or what's a reasonable salary, a reasonable income, reasonable for what you do, for what your responsibilities are. And so a lot of small business owners would be like, well, why would lowering what I get paid save me some money? Well, let me tell you a story. So what you can do is you can actually lower your income, or you can shift some of your income from the higher tax bracket to a lower one. So we talked about shifting some of your high tax bracket income, say from your high tax bracket to leveraging the 14-day rule with zero income tax. Now what you can do is part of this is looking at taking what you have for a higher tax bracket and then shifting it to a lower one. So for instance, you can have highly paid professionals. They could take an income in the form of salary, but that's taxed at rates as high as over 40%. So say 37% for income tax plus 3.8% for Medicare tax, where instead now you can have those profits maybe left in the business taxed at 21%, and then you can take those out as a dividend later on at a lower tax bracket. So there's ways to still have some of your income coming in, but it's the way that you're positioning that income and where you're taking it at the time that you're taking it. You can shift some of those dollars from a higher tax bracket to a lower tax bracket. Now, some small business owners might think, well, hey, I'm not a compensation expert. I'm not a tax expert. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. You know what? That's fine, because the truth is that we actually have resources that walk you through this step by step. So we actually have a software tool where what we can do is we can send you, you can talk with, say, your HR department. You can look at some different in the area for, say, your position, what other people are making in similar industries. Or we also have a tool that basically it's a questionnaire. It talks about, what's all of for your roles, what are all your responsibilities, what percentages of those responsibilities, or how much time do you dedicate to those different responsibilities, because certain activities that you do is considered is worth a higher compensation than others. And so what it does is it walks you through all of your different roles, the percentage of those roles, the time that you spend in those different roles. And then what it does is it spits out what a reasonable compensation would be for you. And the great part about it is that report is approved by the IRS. So you can actually take that in the event of an audit and say, well, why are you paying yourself so little? Because what ends up happening is a lot of people will go out and they'll try to leverage this strategy of shifting their income and paying themselves a really sometimes people are paying themselves too much in revenue or too much in income, say a salary, and that's obviously not tax efficient. But what also happens is that people go too far the other way and they pay themselves way too little because they're trying to over leverage this strategy. And maybe a reasonable compensation for their role would be, say, $100,000, but they're paying themselves $50,000 because then they want to keep more or get more of that salary at a lower tax bracket. But the truth is that you actually can't do that. The IRS, that they could look at that and they can understand what you're trying to do, and that could be a negative. So when you have this reporting, it helps you to have the backup. And to have that report, it'll help you in the event if you do, in fact, have to deal with an IRS audit. And so secret number 3, that covers 1, covers 2. Secret number 3, how to accurately track your business and personal use of a vehicle. So if you have a vehicle and you use it for mixed use, it's maybe in your business name, but you also use a percentage of that vehicle for some personal use, then this is definitely for you. And so some small business owners are like, hey, I don't know how to figure out the mileage split. We just use a certain percentage, an arbitrary percentage. Maybe it's, we just say, it's 50-50 or 70-30 or 80-20, whatever it is. Well, the fact is that you can't just come up with a percentage. Let me explain. You can't just say, hey, we use a certain split. It's 50-50. It's 70% business, 30% personal, whatever. If you do that, that will not hold up in an audit. You need to have some valid reporting to show the usage split and back up what you end up deducting on your taxes. So an example of this gone wrong is actually an Ohio attorney who had 5 offices across the state, and he claimed almost $19,000 in mileage deductions. Well, this was flagged by the IRS. He didn't keep a formal mileage log, and the IRS rejected his entire mileage deduction. Okay, this is a worst case scenario, but this can happen if you do not keep a formal mileage log. And so some people also are like, hey, I don't know how to keep up with all of these rules. I don't know how to accurately keep track of the mileage. Well, the truth is that we've actually found a resource, third party. This isn't anything that we own, but we've gone out there and we've tested a bunch of different strategies and systems and resources to help with this process. And we found a resource that we highly recommend. It instantly tracks your mileage and your trips for you. And all you have to do is classify the trips, personal or business, with a simple swipe of a finger. So let me ask you a question. Are you enjoying this webinar so far? The 3 strategies, the 3 secrets that we've talked about, do you think they're going to help you? Hopefully that they will. So we've covered how to rent your home for 14 days a year and pay $0 in income tax, how to identify what reasonable compensation is for you and your role and your responsibilities, and also secret number 3, how to accurately track the business and personal use of a vehicle. So what's next to take things to the next level? I want to talk a little bit now about our custom tax planning service. Now, this is where I told you in the beginning, I want to talk about, I was going to give you guys an offer. I want to tell you about some of the things that we do. I want to provide some value up front without a doubt, so that way you have some different ideas, some things you can take back to your tax planning team or your accounting team. But I want to talk to you a little bit about our custom tax planning service. So tax planning is all about lowering your tax bill and keeping more of your hard-earned money in your pocket. You can start, the thing about a tax plan is you can start to see the results immediately. A lot of people will say, well, when it comes to tax planning, no, I already have an accountant. I don't need anything else. I already have an accountant. We're doing tax planning. So tax planning is different than accounting. Accounting is looking in the rear view. Accounting is looking and saying, okay, here's what you've done up to this point, and then send us all of your documents. You give them to your accountant, and then they plug and play, put the numbers in the boxes, and here's what you owe. Tax planning is more forward thinking. It's looking back and saying, here's what you've done up to this point. But then it's also looking forward and saying, hey, if you do these things differently, this is how much you can actually save. So it's taking a proactive approach. It's playing a little bit of offense instead of just playing defense when it comes to your taxes. So when it comes to our custom tax planning service, here's what you get. First, you get a 2 times guaranteed tax plan. So what does that mean? We look at we do a little bit of analysis of what you're doing up to this point. We look at you and your industry and your size of business and identify, based on our experience, what we think, based on your experience, what projected savings are. We then what we offer is a 2 times guaranteed tax plan. So let's say we looked at your savings. We think we can save you well over $20,000 in savings. then we would come to you, we would come to an agreement and say, okay, we want to offer you a $10,000 tax plan. And for that $10,000 tax plan, we guarantee to find you at least $20,000 in tax savings. If it's a $5,000 tax plan, we guarantee to find you at least $10,000 in savings. So you have a guaranteed 2 times return on your money. With that tax plan, you get both a digital copy as well as a hard copy with your tax plan summary, your implementation guide, and how to, and on all the tax code references. So that way you can see basically it's just completely done for you, step by step, A to Z. Not only the strategies, the plan, the summary, but also here, this strategy here is the actual tax code that it refers to. So with these tax plans, we actually had a Montana small business owner purchase a $10,000 tax plan from us. We found him $123,003 in tax savings. And that is, if he implemented all the strategies that we gave him, that would be his tax savings in year 1. So you talk about return on investment. Like I said, we guarantee a minimum of 2 times return on your money, but we do not cap the top end. There is no cap on the maximum. So we guaranteed to find him 20,000. Here we found him over 123,000. So who does this work for? This works for small business owners who are proactive and they want to keep more of their hard-earned money instead of overpaying the government. Now, we fully believe in paying our taxes, but also paying our fair share of taxes. We believe in following the letter of the law to the T, but in the end, a lot of times, we feel like your money is best spent in your pocket, where you can reinvest in your business, in your people, in your community, and you're going to be more responsible with your money a lot of times than the government is. But we want to pay our fair share of taxes. We want to do everything legally and ethically. But in the end, we want you to keep more of your hard-earned dollars in your pocket. And so a lot of people, they don't get started because they're like, hey, I've already have an accountant. I don't know. I like my accountant. We've had it to where people have been friends with their accountants. They were friends in college. They were roommates in college. But guess what? We're not looking to replace your accountant. We're looking to work to, if you want to, use your current accountant, and we want to work with them to implement your tax plan. Think of it as if you go to the doctor and you get a diagnosis you're not happy with, what are you going to do? You're going to go get a second opinion. We look at this as we're a second opinion. We can look at what you're doing, identify holes in the strategies, identify opportunities for you to save some money, and then work with your accountants to implement the plan that we've put together. So you're going to get the 2 times guaranteed tax plan. Those tax plans can run $5,000 to $10,000. It all depends on what we think your potential savings is after we start to look into what you're doing already and what we think we can save you. You're also going to get the guided tax plan implementation. So what we'll do, we've spent a lot of time and money putting together an amazing team of tax professionals. We've got accountants, CPAs, tax attorneys, tax planners. And so what we are there to do is to give you, it's not just putting together a tax plan for you, giving it to you, and then you and your accountants have to figure it out. We're here to help you. The tax plan does nothing for you. It was worth 0 to you if the strategies aren't properly implemented. And so we want to be there to hold your hand, to be there to link arms with you and to help you with implementation. So if your accountants think we need to jump on a phone call, jump on a video call, anything to do to help you with answer any questions and to implement your tax plan, we are here to do that for you. And so, like I said, you already have an accountant. We're not there to replace your accountant. We're there to link arms with your current tax team and to help them to implement your tax strategies. And in the end, it's all about you and saving you money. So with that guided implementation, you're looking at a value of almost $1,000, and that's going to be included in your 2 times guaranteed tax plan. So you can see here, cost and value. Like I said, we're all about providing as much value as we possibly can. So that guided tax plan implementation, $1,000 value is included with your tax plan. Also, we had mentioned it before, but you're also going to get the Taxbot Mileage App. This is the app that, you can go and you can buy this on your own. You can go and Google Taxbot and you can find it. This is the mileage app that we use, that we highly recommend, and we recommend to all of our clients. But with this, what's great about it is it automates every time you make a trip, it automatically tracks your mileage, and then all you have to do to categorize that trip is just a quick swipe of the finger. So swipe it either personal or categorize it business. And part of this is that we want to give you free access to this tool for a year. So we will pay for your Taxbot app for a year. It's amazing. It's an amazing tool. Like I said, simple swipe of the finger, and you can accurately track all of your business and personal miles. It gives you the ability then to generate that report that's approved by the IRS. That if in case of an audit and you say, hey, this is my split, this is how the percentage of personal and the percentage of business miles, it's not just your word. You can actually back it up with a report that's going to help you, and it'll hold up in an audit. So, like I said, a lot of people will be like, hey, I already have too many things to worry about. But the great part about this tool and why we recommend it and why we want to provide it to you for a year is because of the automation. Literally, you don't have to think about it. It's not every time you go for a trip, you don't have to start the trip and end the trip and classify it. It does it automatically for you. It's super valuable. And like I said, in the end, it can save you a lot of money, both in making sure and it'll help you to accurately track your mileage, but then also it'll protect you in the event of an audit. That app for a year is $100, and we want to throw that in for you for free. And so you're going to get, as part of our tax planning service, you get your 2 times guaranteed tax plan, you get your guided tax plan implementation, and your Taxbot Mileage App for a year. So what you're also going to get, we want to throw this in for you, is our SBO Resource Guide. What this is it's our small business operations resource guide. And so we've spent a lot of time and money identifying tools and resources that actually work, that are actually effective. And then in the end, the ultimate goal is to increase your operational efficiency and help you increase your profitability. And so these resources come in a variety of categories, and you can look and see and understand, better than we do, maybe the holes that are in your business and where you can improve. And so what we want to do is put together a resource guide where you can look at the different categories of resources. You can identify within your business where maybe things are lacking, where you could use a tool, where you could improve. And then this will help you to better streamline that research process. And now you don't have to go out and try a bunch of products, try a bunch of tools and resources that don't work. You're going to spend your time, you're going to spend your money. Now what you can do is you're able to look at our resource guide. You can look at the different categories. You can try those tools. Are they going to be perfect for you? Maybe not, but it's going to help you get closer. We don't recommend any tools that we don't already use or we've never used in the past. And so this will just help you get closer, because like I said, time is money, and we want you to save both your time and money. So we want to throw in this resource guide for you. It'll help you easier, helps you to faster and easier get on top of all your business operations and profitability. Amazing tools, and we want to throw that in for you as well. And so the value of that, honestly, it's priceless. I mean, everybody puts a different price on their time, but between the time and the money value, the value of this thing is priceless. And so we want to throw that in for you, obviously, for free. So for part of our tax planning service, our custom tax planning service, you're going to get your 2 times guaranteed tax plan. You're going to get your guided tax plan implementation, your Taxbot Mileage App for a year, and free access, free download of our SBO Resource Guide. And so if all we did was help you turn $1 into 2, would it be worth it? Looking at your 2 times guaranteed on your tax plan, would it be worth it? What if you could lay the foundations for increased profitability for the next 5 years or 10 years? Would it be worth it? Think about that Montana small business owner. We were able to find him over $100,000 in savings. Now that's year 1 savings if all of the strategies were implemented. That's year 1. Well, then that savings comes in year 2 and year 3 and year 4. If he was doing what he was doing before, that could save him, it could save him with implementing the new strategies. It could save him over $500,000 over the next 5 years. Think about that. But our 2 times guarantee, we guarantee that's what you would save with full implementation of the strategies in year one. So when we created this, we had two choices. We can either try to make it cheap or we could try to make it valuable. And for us, we would rather make something valuable. If you look at, a lot of times people will look at, say, the cost with whatever the product is. If there is an issue with, oh, that's too expensive, it's because there's a misunderstanding of maybe what the value is, or there's an incongruency there with what the value is. But that's why we wanted to put that 2 times guarantee return on our tax plan. We want to create something that's valuable for you. We didn't want to just say, hey, we can help you, and have it be our word out there, and you're just going to have to trust us. Not only do you have to trust us, of course, but you want to trust the people you do business with. But we want to put it out there, and we want to give you that guaranteed return of 2 times. Make it as valuable for you, because we want to make tangible changes in your business and in your life, and not just hypothetical change. We want to make some change that you're really going to feel, and that it's going to help you get from where you are to where you want to get to. So, like I said, would it be worth it for you to lower your tax bill? Would it be worth it for you to keep more of your money in your pocket? Our ultimate goal, like I said, is to help you to increase your profitability, so that way you have more money to reinvest in yourself, in your family, in your business, in your people, and in your community. And so really, you've got 2 choices. You either move forward or you don't. Hopefully, at the very least, that you are able to take some of these strategies and talk with your accountant at the very least if you don't decide to move forward. But what we want to do is we want to give you the ability to at least learn more. The last thing we want to do is, if you want to get a tax plan with us, we kind of look at it like it's almost like getting married. We're going to get into some stuff. We're talking about money, you're talking about taxes, it's very, very personal. And so the last thing we want to do is ask you to get married before we've even dated. And one of the things that we wanted to offer was, obviously, we've got a guarantee. So when it comes to your tax plan, if we, for whatever reason, we can't refund you what we say we can, or we can't find you the savings that we say we can, we will definitely refund your money. But what we also wanted to offer was the opportunity for you just to learn more. The opportunity for us to date a little bit. The opportunity for us to get on a call, either with myself or a member of my team, understand a little bit more what our tax plan is all about. How do these work, and what's the process in order for you to get a custom tax plan for yourself? And so, once again, just to recap, here's when you do decide to move forward and you do end up getting a tax plan. Here's everything that you have included. You get the tax plan, obviously guided implementation, the Taxbot Mileage App for a year, and our resource guide. And so, if you want to get started now, the next step is to schedule a free consultation. Learn more about us. Learn more about the process. Learn more about maybe what kind of savings, and we can run you through a quick calculation of maybe the kind of savings that we might be able to find you. And then we can take that next step towards your own custom tax plan. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if you're every year tired of how much taxes you have to pay, and you complain about your tax bill, but you don't try to do anything different, that is insanity. And it's time, if you want to get different results, you got to start implementing some different strategies and trying some different tactics. And so if you want to get started now with your custom tax plan, you want to learn more about us, want to learn more about the process and procedures, want to learn more about that tax planning process and what it will take for you to get your own custom tax plan, we'd love to talk with you. If you go to lakefrontadvisors.com/tax-planning-consultation, or there might be a link below this video. If you click on that link, you head over, schedule a free consultation. You'll be talking with myself or a member of my team, get all of your questions answered, and we can get you on the way to getting your own custom tax plan for yourself. So thank you for your time. I hope you found this information valuable. Hope you got a little bit of some different tools and strategies to help you in your business. The ultimate goal, like I said, is we want next year and the year after that to be better than this year. We want to help you to get from where you are to where you want to get to. And we know a custom tax plan is going to help you do that. It's going to help you keep more of your money in your pocket. You work so hard. Don't just give it away arbitrarily. And so thank you so much for your time. We hope this information was valuable to you. Schedule a free consultation, and we will talk to you soon.